Welcome to Saber Spotlight, where we cover Sauhegan's weekly events and highlights from sports, after-school activities, and important events. I'm Lauren Adrianson, and let's take a look at this past week. This week, Evmorphia interviewed the director and members of this year's fall play. Here's what they had to say.
Next week, Sauhegan is putting on a play directed by Jennifer Stover, covering the important topics of bullying and student stress.
My name is Jennifer Stover. I am the director of Sauhegan Drama here at Sauhegan High School, and this year we're putting on a collection of one-acts that I've titled Filtered, Life Through the Lens of a Teen. They are 6 one-acts from a collection about bullying, and then one of them is a 35-minute one-act called Selfie, which is based on seniors in high school and a year in their life. One of the reasons why I was called to this show is just watching other mothers these last couple of years really getting upset about bullying in school, bullying in elementary school, bullying in high school, and it made me reflect on the bullying that I see as adults. And I love that these characters aren't necessarily seen as either good or bad. There's just so much happening at once, but you really get to see them go through some issues, and then some have very serious consequences, some have not as serious consequences, but you know, it's never really over. The story just keeps on moving through.
A few Sauhegan students who have contributed to the play give a sneak peek on who their role is and how the show is impactful.
I'm Nathaniel Shepard. I'm in 10th grade, and I play Andrew. Andrew is a semi-older gentleman who meets his past monsters and has to face his past in a very, comedic way. The message of the show really shows that how we treat other people really matters in the long run, especially.
I'm Audrey Powers. I'm in 12th grade and I play Sam. Sam is a teenager who's struggling with the college process and stress, while also dealing with a post that came out online which got her rejected from a college.
I'm Braden Folks. I'm in 11th grade and I play Jack. Jack is a high schooler and he is grieving for his friend. It shows how different kinds of bullying can affect different people, and it kind of brings awareness to a topic people don't really think about or talk about.
I'm in 12th grade and my role is Caitlin. So my role, she's a very optimistic girl and she's in love with love. She ends up making a mistake because of her unrealistic expectations of love, but she learns from those mistakes and there's a happy ending. So this show is important because it's shining a light on topics that aren't usually talked about, but are very relatable and to teens and anyone of any age. You probably will go through something that one of the characters have gone through, and it's interesting to see it from another angle. We've been working really hard on it, and I think it's unlike anything we've ever put on the Sauhegan stage.
I think people should come see this show because, one, these kids are phenomenal. They've really opened up. It's very challenging for teens to play teens because they're exposing a little bit of themselves, and these kids have been willing to be so open and vulnerable, and it's really impressive. You will laugh hysterically. You might recognize yourself or a previous experience. You might see something that will make you think and make you wonder, wow, I never really thought about it like that. I think that's what theater is supposed to do. It's supposed to make you pause and think, entertain you, and leave you with something when you walk out the door that you keep thinking about later that night and the next morning, maybe even hopefully for another week or so.
The play will be shown starting at 7 p.m. on November 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. It's $8 admissions for students and $10 for adults.
Break a leg. I sat down with Dan Wyberny this week to talk about a new implementation in the gym about a sports camera.
Recently, a new camera was implemented into the gym. We sat down with Dan Wyberny to learn more about it.
Hi, I am Dan Wyberny, the athletic director here at Sauhegan High School.
The company of the camera is called Huddle. They help record and produce sports films for many uses.
Huddle is an online-based computer software program that allows our teams and coaching staff to upload film for their games, events, practices, anything they want to capture and upload into a program where kids and coaches have access to it online to be able to rewatch game footage, but also to share with other teams in exchange so they can get some scouting reports for that. It's also used for our student athletes to create highlight films that they can send off to college coaches for recruiting purposes. So there's a lot of different neat little features that the program has.
Huddle came out with a new model called the Huddle Focus, which uses new technology to improve the quality of the sports videos produced.
So Huddle came out with a new camera called the Huddle Focus, and it's a web-based computer camera. So it's basically mounted in your gym, so you don't have to physically have somebody sit there with a camera and film the games. It's set up automatically to chase the ball and chase the game with a four lens system that follows the play for volleyball and basketball right now. They haven't really finalized the outdoor action of the camera yet, but inside it's pretty neat. It follows the ball, it follows the action, so the camera is set up to be able to capture the footage.
With this new camera, Dan hopes to increase the amount of people watching Sauhegan sporting events by streaming the games online.
If we want to stream online now, we can set up a YouTube channel and have people, grandparents from far away, can now watch their grandchildren play, or parents if they're traveling on vacation. If we set up that channel, they could have access to it too.
Although the camera is only in the gym as of now, Dan is hoping to implement the use of Huddle for other sports teams in the future.
It allows us to broaden our our people that are able to watch and watch our teams play. It's one of the things you always struggle with, is that sometimes you don't get a huge crowd at some of the games, and maybe it's because of the timing of it. It's during that Christmas break time or whatever. Now with the function to be able to possibly live stream it, it allows more access for people. But also it's pretty cool that the way that it captures it and captures the footage of it is a different angle than what we would see typically from an iPad or a camera on the end. So it's pretty exciting new technology.
Thanks for the update. Lindsay talked to Viet Pham, a science teacher here at Sauhegan, about his experience over the past couple of years.
Daisy, get over here. All done? Hi, my name is Viet Pham. I've been teaching at Sauhegan for a little bit over 2/10 of a century.
Although Viet has been teaching here at Sauhegan for 23 years, his background is quite different than most people here.
I grew up in Vietnam. My family moved here when I was 9 in 1975 after the fall of Saigon. Are you familiar with that? Saigon fell to the communists on April 30th, 1975, and my family left on April 29th, 1975, the day before all of South Vietnam was overran by the Communist Army. And then we hung out and lived in refugee camps for a year and a half, 2 years, in the Philippines, on the Wakes Island, in Hawaii. And we lived almost a year at Fort Chaffee, Arkansas, which is an army base where they were housing 300,000-400,000 Vietnamese refugees. A church in Norwood, Mass. Sponsored my family. It was St. Timothy's of Norwood, Mass. They sponsored my family, and they got us started as immigrants, helping my parents find work, helping us find housing, gave us clothes, drove us to school and church, and helped us the first year or two to get assimilated and be able to have the basic necessity to start.
It was never Viet's intention to become a chemistry teacher until a sudden college opportunity.
I wanted to be a full-time fisherman. Teaching was not even an iota in my plans when I was a kid growing up. It was just to be a fisherman. It wasn't, definitely not my parents' plan for me neither. I started college in engineering, and there was a program to get community service hours, tutoring in a nearby school. And I was tutoring math and science, and I really enjoy working with kids, getting to know them, and getting them to learn and enjoy the process of learning.
I asked Viet how he met his wife, Amy, who also works here